In today's video, I'm going to be doing sub-20 walkthrough solves using 2-look OLL without TPS maxing. So you're going to see some of the slowest sub-20 solves on this video. So make sure to like the video and let me know in the comments if you want to see more walkthrough solves. And all scrambles and recons will be in the description. So I had actually messed up my cross here. I did like 10 moves for it, but that just goes to show that you don't need to be perfect to achieve sub-20. The first pair I actually noticed was these two. And so I did this to pair them up in the top layer. And that's actually a difference between beginner and advanced F2L is that beginner, you'd actually pair them, well, you'd actually remove the edge and slot like that, and then have to pair it up, which is an extra step. But with a bit of advanced F2L, you just pair them up as you remove the edge. And then the other difference is instead of rotating and solving into the front, which is what most people do, I actually rotate it like this and solve it into the back so I can have my front slots open. And then same applies for this case. I pair them up like that and then solve it into the back. And then another difference between beginner and advanced F2L is that these two, I think most people would kind of like pair them up like that and then solve into the front. But with advanced F2L, you realize that you can use any free slots that are open to kind of pair up your pieces. So I used this empty slot to pair these two up and then solve that into the front. And then this was my last pair, which I solved like that. 2-look OLL. I think those are decent finger tricks. And for PLL, that's how I finger check my JB perm. So going into this next solve, I actually messed up my cross again, but this time I didn't feel like it because I had decent finger tricks. But anyway, it was a 10 move cross, which, as you may already know, cross can always be solved in 8 moves. Anyway, this was the first pair I saw. And so I split them up like that, which actually pairs them up. And again, what I didn't do is rotate so I can solve into the front. That's beginner stuff. You actually want to rotate so you can solve that into the back. And then I conveniently had these two, which I paired up like that. And again, back insert. Now I have 2 slots open. Now with this pair, if you're able to pair up a pair and actually solve it into the front like that, then I actually challenge you to learn how to do that from the back, which is what I did. And then this was the last edge piece, which I solved like that. And then 2-look OLL, which is actually 3-look. And notice how my last layer finger tricks are fluid and have 0 unnecessary regrips. So I finally did a decent cross solution here. We have blue on the right of the orange edge piece, and that's how it goes with the center pieces. And then green is in the perfect position to be inserted on the left of orange, which again aligns with the center pieces. And so this is something you should know approaching sub-20, is which colors go on which side of each other. And then lastly, we had red, which is aligned with its opposite color, orange. And so since all of these are basically aligned already, I can just insert green into the cross and then misalign it, which misaligns the others. And then I can insert red and then align my cross in the end, which took me 4 moves. So going into F2L here, I couldn't find any decent pairs. And so this is a framework that I follow, taught by Dylan Miller, which is the look-ahead flowchart. So you want to be looking at this part of your cube and the front 2 slots. And so I kind of did that, didn't notice anything. And so that's when I'm able to rotate and re-inspect using that same flowchart. And so I found these 2, which I solved into the back like that. And then for second pair, I noticed this edge, and this corner. And I needed more information on this corner because all I can tell right now is that this is an orange corner piece. And so I did this, and then that confirmed that this is the blue-orange corner piece, which goes with this edge. And so I then used edge orientation, which basically is using the edge piece to determine whether I should rotate or not. And so in this case, I didn't need to because the top color of this edge piece matches either the front or the back, in this case, the back centerpiece. And so I know I can solve these 2 without having to rotate. So I aligned that and then solved it into the back. And then third pair, I actually thought these 2 go together. So I did this and I noticed that I'm actually wrong. And so there's a lot to be critiqued about these solves, not just this one. And so let me know in the comments if you guys want me to critique them. Anyway, I then did that, and then I noticed, okay, since I already saw this, these 2 belong together, so I rotated this way so I could solve it into the back. And then lastly, this edge piece, I solved like that, to look OLL. And then I went crazy with PLL. And that's the other thing too, is that like, even if you slow down your solves, you can always get to a point in last layer where you can just go crazy and TPS max basically. For this cross, I had green down here and orange conveniently on the right of green because orange goes on the right of green. And then I had a really good edge here with blue and then a bad edge here with red. And so the rule with bad edges, and by the way, bad edges are defined by edges that can't be solved in one move. So blue can be solved in one move, orange can be solved in one move, but this has to be solved in 2 moves. So the rule with bad edges is that you want to use other edges to insert them. You never want to insert bad edges alone. So from this side, what I did is I inserted orange and green and aligned them. And then with this edge, I put it on top of blue. So I could insert like this and then reinsert blue. This was the first pair I saw, which I solved like this. And I honestly should have noticed these 2, but I guess I was too focused on this pair. So I split them up like this, which I paired and solved into the back. And I honestly should have seen these 2, but I guess, again, I was too focused on another pair. And then same goes for these 2. I solved it exact same way. And honestly, it would have been better if I just had sledged them in, which would have made me one look OLL. But anyway, I 2-looked it and noticed my finger tricks as well. And then GC perm, which was hard to recognize. So with this solve, again, I had made a mistake with my cross, so I'm not going to get into that. And then this was the first pair I saw, which I rotated this way and solved into the back. And then this was the next edge I saw, or pair I saw rather, which conveniently can be inserted into the back. And then these 2 are right next to each other. Instead of solving them like this, I rotated this way, solved them into the back, and then had these 2 in front of me, which I solved with reverse sexy move. And then 2-look, OLL, and PLL.